Hello, hello, this is Jilly Bling. How are you today? I have a project using Ranunculus Romance. What do you think? And it's using some old designer paper, but you could use whatever you have. That's kind of a subtle print. Here's the other project. Did I show you the inside of this one? Just simple, kind of vintagey. And there are dies, so it's a bundle. There's dies that go with this. And we'll also be using stitched rectangles for this little frame right here. Okay. So here's the ranunculus dies, and then there's stitched rectangles. Love this set. I did a whole grouping, I Gotta Have It box, a grouping of 5 different cards using that set because it's just so pretty. Okay, so let's get started. Here's base paper, and this is mint. Okay. Fold it in half, that's the paper base. This is for, see that little hello? That hello is right here in the stamp set. So let's do that since I'm thinking about it. Hello. I don't know about that one. Okay, that looks a little better. And these are the dies, and we'll use them all. Excuse me. There's not too many. So this little one right here, I'm not sure what's in my throat. It matches the lily. And for some reason, I love that little stamp. And it also matches it fits the hello. So let me cut that out. Here it is. And let's see what other papers are over here. So this die right here, which is in the ranunculus dies, cut out one of that. And because it's going to be tucked in, if you don't get the bottom corner, bottom end of the die, that's fine. And then cut out another one in crumb cake. And that is for, right here, just like a shadow of a flower. And then it's right here. So here's those pieces. And this is to stamp the flower on. We'll do that in a minute. And this is for the frame. So in black, I have these two somewhat nested together, and I have the washi tape to just hold it in place. Because right there, when you look at that, it's like, well, that's not that crooked. It's narrow here and a little wider there. And stick down the washi tape. Shift that one right where I want it. And if you don't have washi tape, you could use a Post-it. Okay, so I'm going to run this one through. And it makes a perfect frame. Then, with the dies, take just the larger die. And run it through on the mint. So this is just the larger die. So it just acts as a backdrop to the frame. And I could put the frame right over the designer paper and fill it up with beautiful things. But this just makes it a little bit calmer. You know, these little details that we do make all the difference. And then this is for the flowers, so let's stamp the flowers. Since I have the silicone mat, might as well use that. And I do have another purpose for having this out. I'll show you in just a minute. So, ranunculus. Can go right here. Oh, so pretty. And then this beautiful bit of flowers can go right here. And if you want, you can do more flowers because you really would only see the top part of them. But I'm going to put this in there because you don't need the whole stem, and I have a whole bunch of this paper laying around. So just like that. And if you happen to cut off this edge, it doesn't matter because once you tuck it in there, you won't see much of the bottom part of that flower anyhow. Okay, so let's see. This will cut out the ranunculus. I have ranunculus growing right out the door. They're so pretty. And then this one, cut out that. Okay, so we're going to cut them out and color them. And I have one almost colored. This is the one that I cut off the side. Okay, so the colors, let's just get this part done. The colors are, for this one, each of them are a little bit different. These are freesia and shaded spruce. This is shaded spruce and polished pink. So when you're coloring this stamp set in particular, it's so dainty and petite, it's almost impossible to color all of these little, like right up through here. Unless you have a brand new marker, you might be able to do it, but chances are you'll go outside of the lines. It just, and then even trying to color the flowers, because they're so detailed, it's challenging. Coloring these little flowers and trying to get green on the stem, it's hard. This is the time to choose your colors based off of your marker status. If your marker is in good shape, that's the way to go. So, because they're so small, this is light polished pink. I'm going to color the whole thing in polished pink. Do you ever do that where you just like scribble right in the middle? It's like, it's partially colored. I know I have more work to do, but okay, so it's easy to get along these edges. And then I'll spin it a little bit. So while I'm coloring, I have a story. So you know how Bo, he was on antibiotics because ever since he's had his Manly surgery, it's like he has a few bald spots on his tummy. Like there's no hair there. Okay, fine. However that is. But wherever the bald spots are, and if any of you are vet people, I think we need to talk. Because I have questions. So wherever the bald spots are, it's like he was getting blackheads. Or maybe they were like ingrown hairs with black stuff around them. And as a dog mom, you know who went out and bought one of those little tools to pick out blackheads? And the dog is looking at me like, leave my tummy alone. Why do you always pick at my tummy and poke at it? So I wasn't doing it quite as often. Anyhow, long story short, one of those little blackheads kind of got to be an angry blackhead, and it made underneath his skin like a bump. And it looked like it was ouchy because it was red. And the bump, there was 3 of them in a row, and the bumps were like this big and maybe that tall. And then all of a sudden, one day, they blew. And I was like, okay, good. I think we're done with that. And of course, he was like always looking and thinking something was going on. And I was like, okay. Anyhow, as soon as they stopped doing their thing, they kind of closed up and stopped having stuff. I don't want to get too graphic. Stuff come out of them. Then it started getting to be a bump again. was like, this is never ending. So that's when he went to the doctor, because I could see that it's just going to keep going and going. So they put him on antibiotics, and they're like, oh, it's probably like a foxtail or just a little burr that's under there. And in my head, I'm thinking, as much as I pick him, I would know if. And when I say pick him, it's more just look and see if I could get any of those blackhead hair things out. So I knew it wasn't that, but okay, that's what it takes. So he had 1 day left to his antibiotics, and it was closed up a little bit flatter, but you could see that it was starting to kind of bulge again. I'm like, this isn't helping. So we called the vet, and this is a somewhat new vet to us. Heard good things about them. And they said, okay, have him not eat or drink. Have him come in tomorrow. We're like, okay. So he had to be there at 8:30. He was there at 8:15. And he had an exploratory surgery. So the biggest of the bumps, they did a little slit through it and got it all cleaned up. And of course, as mom, who loves my pup, I was thinking, it's something traumatic. He's got cancer. He's got a growth, a tumor. Because I didn't know what it was. Anyhow, he came home last night, and of course, somewhat medicated. And he's still on another 2 weeks of antibiotics now. And they said, oh, it's just a little blackhead gone crazy. She says, and so while I was there, I cleaned up all of those little dots, and there was quite a few of them. And I'm like, I know. And they shaved them there, but they left. If there's the mound that was that big, that's how big the incision is. It goes all the way across in like a Y shape. And it's all that is just, there's no skin, it's raw. She goes, well, we want to leave that open if it drains any. And I'm like, well, I guess it's a good thing it's not bleeding. Well, I want to do this one on the inside. Anyhow, all is well. Today, he's feeling a lot better. Yesterday, he was doing a bit of, but, so then we don't want to leave him alone, because you know he'd be right at it. So we have an alternate to the cone. We have this, it looks like a travel pillow. So he was in travel pillow. Because I had to take Tony put off picking up his truck. It got new air conditioning. Yeah. Exciting times. I'm just making this card. If you're watching, you're probably a stamper and you already know how to do most of it. It's not, the card isn't all that difficult. It's just kind of different, unique, vintage. So, that's been my last day or so. Taking care of the boy. It was so quiet here without the boys. You're like, what are you doing? I'm going to put flowers over this. You're like, over that? Yep. I have a plan. So on the other ones, I did kind of the same thing. Okay, enough of that. So for the inside, it's stamped right over. Under, over, doesn't matter. And same with this one. Oh, look at that one up there. Yeah. Okay, Memento Ranunculus. Okay, this one I want to put a few more on the inside. See, it still shows up. But as I'm doing this, remember, if you're getting crazy like I am, stamping and stamping more, I had to color them. So if you like coloring, have at it. If you don't like coloring, you might not want to do this. Oh, did I get ink in there? No. Okay, and just for you, okay, so when you look at that, it's like you kind of went crazy, or you like, oh, that's pretty. Okay, so that's going to go on the inside. Let's start building this card. So, oh, this, because the two samples, both of the samples I did whoopses on. One of them, I didn't stamp the vintaginess, and I had adhesive all over on it, like this. Okay, and I went to put it down, I was like, oh, I didn't stamp. So, pull out your silicone mat, put it on here, stamp, stamp, then you peel it up. Or, if you don't want to do that, I have another way too. So you put the designer paper on your white, and you're like, oh, I didn't stamp. Take this paper, turn it upside down, put it right here along the edge, and then you could stamp everything. And you're protecting your little border, your white border. That's what I did on both of these. If you flip this paper over, there's vintaginess on, okay, not on that one. It's not good that it comes up like that one. Oh, it's on this one. Anyhow, so there's ways to fix things when you do a whoops. Okay, so this is just going to get laid on flat because there'll be so many dimensionals on the flowers and the frame. Isn't that pretty? Bow, crinkle white seam binding. It's like my go-to. I love this stuff. But you could use whatever you have, just so it isn't too bold. Little double bow. So yesterday the meds were wearing off a bow, and it drives me crazy. He's going, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's hurting. And Tony's like, no, that's just, the doctor told me, that's just a side effect of him coming out of the meds. So we have these anti-anxiety pills for him. We've had them for a year, never used them. Pulled some of them out. So he was antibiotic, 2 antibiotics, 1 pain pill, and then I gave him an anxiety pill, which is to make him calm. I think it's for dogs that don't like fireworks. They don't bother him. And the medicine, it said he could have between 1 to 3 of them. So I knew that one of them was a lightweight dose. But he relaxed and he slept so good. And this morning he woke up and he's like feeling all feisty as if nothing ever happened. It's amazing. Okay, let's do the frame. I'm really chatty. Maybe it's because I'm relieved. So here is the mint frame and the little black frame. And I kept saying to myself, the black, it's a little bit too black. But I think it's kind of stunning. think it works. Otherwise, it might be too matchy-matchy. Like if I did a crumb cake frame or a suede frame, I don't know. It's okay. So, half dimensionals. These are the itty bitty ones. Mini dimensionals. Cut in half for the frame. So I'm going to a Stampin' Up! Event in late August. I know it's been coming up. It's about a month away now. And Tony's coming with me. So I said he's my supporting demonstrator. I guess I put that on a long time ago. So, great, okay. So they're calling and saying, hey, if he's coming, you have to pay for him. I said, I thought I already did. They're like, no. Anyhow, so that got me thinking, I need to do some swaps. And I need to do them for the both of us. Because I want him to swap. He's kind of swapped before, and he had a good time. But I had to do a manly card. I don't know. It's going to be something good, but I don't know. Okay, so the flowers, I've got one that has a cutoff leaf. That one will go underneath. So the two ranunculus, it started out 1 and 1. Good, looks good. Then I did 2 of the ranunculus and none of the long flower. That looks good too. So this is like a hybrid. This has got it all going on. I hope it's not too big. There. Oh, and then these things here, the shadow. So I had them separate here. Okay. Here I put them together, so it's like the crumb cake is more what you're looking at, and the black one is more a shadow. I kind of like how that looks. So if I put these together and just have them off, just like that. Okay. Get them stuck. I'll just put it on the crumb cake. So I have to come up with a good set to use for Tony's swap. And I'll do like 50 for me, 50 for him. Something good. Something that doesn't involve coloring. That would take too long. Okay, that looks good. Let that dry a bit. And this bow is going to go, oh, that's looking so pretty. Okay. So, I have one on the left, kind of like the one in the middle. Should I put one on the right? Okay, you got to do the bouquet thing. There's this. That. How's that? I'm not sure, so I'm just going to say yes, that's how it will be. So, dimensionals are going to be my glue. I'm going to stick everything together. Oop, 2 dimensionals. Lots of dimensionals. Oop, that one's not stuck yet. In all the places it's not stuck, that's fine. Maybe the frame is going to go somewhere around here. Okay, I'll just leave it like that. See how it looks on the frame? Kind of tucked in. Okay. There it will be. This could go here. Oh, and then what about my hello? So this one, I did the hello, like a hanging from the bow. This one is more of a label. Maybe it could be off to the side a little. Ooh, right there. How about right there? Okay. Right here. I should look for areas that are colored poorly. Okay. Then a glue dot for the bow. And then, not that I don't trust the glue dot, but I've just been doing that lately. Glue underneath it just a little bit, just to make sure it stays in place. Okay, kind of a crazy bow, but that's okay. And then it's time to put this down. So are you cringing thinking, oh my gosh, she still has to color all that inside? That was way too much. I have it done. I already have it done. This is so sweet. Oh, we have to do the pearls too. Pearls. So the pearls, these are kind of random. And then these are just the 3 in a row. Okay, 3 in a row, right down here. Three. Okay. So before this is done, I know that some parts are kind of flopping up, which is part of the plan. Okay. A little bit of dimension. Here's those itty bitty ones. Okay, that looks good. Then maybe underneath these, I don't know about that one could just get glue. This part here, because see how it's loose. Oop, I hear the dog moving around. I had to make sure he's not licking that thing. I took the cone off of him. Okay. This thing is just probably like undercoated with dimensionals. Okay, so what do you think? Isn't that just as sweet as can be? One more. Right here on the frame. Okay, I like that. I like it. Okay, so for the inside, okay, isn't that cringeworthy? It's like, okay, gotta color it. Hold on. Whew. Done. Isn't that beautiful? And stamping over or under, it doesn't matter what order you do them in, it's just, it's so pretty. Yeah, that flower didn't come out well. So, this is today's project. It's a good one, I think. What do you think? Do you like it? It's just pretty. Wouldn't you love to receive something like that? Somebody that sends you a letter just to say hello, just for you, just thinking of you. Okay, thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great day and the weekend's coming up. A great weekend. Okay, bye.